Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to be learning about child development principles and theories. Studying children and understanding child growth and development are two important parts of teaching young children. Development refers to change or growth starting at infancy and continues to adulthood. The basic patterns of child development have been studied for generations. Brain development occurs rapidly during the first 3 years of life, and it can affect lifelong outcomes in learning, behavior, and health. Theories of development can help caregivers understand how to best work with children. These theories provide insight into children's development. So join me, Mrs. Murph, as we learn all about child development principles and theories. Two main forces that influence all areas of a child's development are heredity and environment. Heredity refers to the characteristic a child inherits genetically from their parents. Environments include all of the interactions, experiences, and events that influence a child's development. So when you think about environment, just don't think about their surroundings. That's not necessarily what we're talking about. We're talking about the things that happen within those surroundings, like experiences, interactions with other people, events in their lives, okay? The study of child development is often divided into 3 developmental domains. These include physical, cognitive, and social emotional. So let's talk about physical development first. Physical development refers to the physical body changes in a relatively stable and predictable sequence. It includes bone thickness, organ development, such as your eyes, your heart, your muscles, and changes in size and weight. Physical skills needed to crawl, walk, and write also fall under physical development and have 2 categories: gross motor development and fine motor development. Gross motor development involves improvement of skills in large muscles, such as your arms and your legs. Fine motor development involves improvement of the skills using small muscles of the hands or your fingers. All right, our next area of development is called cognitive development, okay? So when we think about cognitive development, we're going to think about Piaget, and we're going to think about learning, okay, like your brain. Cognitive development refers to the process people use to gain knowledge. Language and thought are a result of cognitive development. As children mature and gain experiences with their world, these skills, their cognitive development skills, will improve and develop. Okay, lastly, we're going to talk about social emotional development. Social emotional development are grouped together because they are so interrelated, meaning they play off of each other, okay? Learning to relate to others is social development. Emotional development involves your personal feelings and expression and how you express those feelings. So social is how you deal with other people. Emotional is kind of how you deal with yourself. The physical, cognitive, and social emotional areas of development are all interrelated. Each area is affected by and influences every other area. Which is more important for the developing brain, nature or nurture? Human development depends on both. The purpose of the brain is to store, use, and create information. The development begins before birth and continues into adulthood. The young brain is both receptive to positive influences and vulnerable to damage. For optimal development, excellent nutrition is needed before and after birth. In contrast to every other major body organ, the brain is not fully developed at birth. It contains about 100 million neurons, which are the building blocks of the brain, and that are poorly connected at birth. The key to building the brain structure is through experiences and stimulation, where neurons become connected to each other. And the most used connections are strengthened while other unused circuits are pruned away or they go away. These brain wiring connections or neurons are called synapses. So I like to think about synapses like the red and the blue of your car battery. And so when you have that experience, it's like it fires off and it creates a place in your brain and you remember that. And so repetitive things, the things that we do over and over and over again, those are the things that they're logged in our brain, and those are the experiences that those children have, and we build upon those things. The brain is changed by adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, which are experiences a child lives with that create toxic stress, such as extreme poverty, severe neglect, maternal depression, exposure to violence, or substance abuse. We will be learning more about ACEs throughout your time in the Child Development Program, so you can learn how to identify children's needs and help them overcome some of the adverse effects of these experiences. Science reveals that the architecture of a healthy brain is shaped through a responsive environment of nurturing adults or relationships. The connections between nerve cells occur as a child interacts with their environment. Through serve and return interaction with caring and attentive people in their environment, children learn to think, feel, and act. Relationships with caregivers help children define who they are and what they can do. Through these relationships, children are motivated to learn to self-regulate their behavior, and this self-regulation allows them to learn self-control. Different parts of the brain develop at different times and rates. Studies show there are things called windows of opportunity that identify key times that you should provide the appropriate stimulation for brain synapses to link easily and efficiently. Vision occurs from birth to 6 months. Vocabulary and speech is birth to 3 years of age. Emotional control is birth to 3 years of age. And math and logical development is from 1 to 4 years of age. And motor development happens from prenatal to 8 years of age. After these key periods, chances for creating stable, long-lasting pathways in the brain tend to diminish. Learning will continue to occur throughout their lives. However, the mastery level may not be as high. Throughout history, childcare has been defined by differing viewpoints, committed educators, and changes in popular practice. Views have changed over time. Many people contributed to the understanding of how children grow and develop. All their works and beliefs have shaped the current practices about young children and early childhood education. Psychologists continue to study human development. They hold different theories about how people learn, how they grow, and how they develop. Since a variety of theories exist, teachers need to understand these different approaches for working with young children. Theories will help you form your personal values and beliefs about how children learn. They will also help you understand strategies for promoting children's development. Chances are you will choose parts from various theories, blend them together to come up with your approach. We're going to look at 4 major theorists that are based on observation and experiences with children. Erik Erikson, here's our first one. Erik Erikson's theory provided new insight into the formation of healthy personality, emphasizing the social and emotional growth of children. Okay, so when you hear Erik Erikson, I want you to immediately think social emotional. Okay, it includes 8 stages that occurs throughout the lifespan and reflect feelings towards that people bring towards a task. At each stage, a social conflict or crisis occurs. Let's look specifically at the stages of birth to 3 years of age. From birth to the first year of life, children enter the first stage, which is called trust versus mistrust. They learn to either trust their environment or mistrust their environment. The second stage, autonomy, meaning let me do it myself, versus shame and doubt occurs. And this happens between 1 to 3 years of age. Toddlers are using their new motor skills and their new mental skills. They want to be independent and they need to learn to make simple choices and decide for themselves. The object is to gain self-control without the loss of self-esteem, which will result in autonomy or independence. The next person we're going to look at is Piaget, and you've probably heard about Piaget. Jean Piaget's thinking challenges teachers to focus on the ways children come to know us as opposed to what they know. Piaget believed thinking was different at each stage of development, including how children perceive, think, understand, and learn all about their world. He was interested in what knowledge is and how children acquire. Okay, so he's your brain man, he's your knowledge man. He is considered a constructivist, believing children build knowledge by mentally and physically being involved in learning activities. Next, we'll talk about Lev Vygotsky. He is another constructivist, believing children learn by doing, but along with the sense of social and cultural experiences. He believes that social interactions help children in the process of obtaining values, customs, beliefs, and skills of a social group. Vygotsky believed that language is an important tool for thought and plays a key role in cognitive development. One of his most important contributions was the zone of proximal development, or the ZPD zone. It's a scale of tasks in a developmental level that defines what children can do alone or with guidance and encouragement, known as scaffolding. Lastly, Howard Gardner. He helped many teachers rethink how they work with young children and described intelligence in terms of mental skills, talents, and abilities. His theory allowed teachers to see the positive attributes in all children and help guide teachers in making curriculum decisions. He has 8 theories of intelligence, and so we'll talk about those later on. And he kind of developed his theory around gifted children, and that you can be gifted in one area or you can be gifted in 8 areas. Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence emphasizes that there are 8 potential pathways to learning, which include bodily kinesthetic, musical rhythmic, logical mathematical, verbal linguistic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, visual spatial, and naturalistic. And we'll talk about those on into some other courses. So now let's review what we've learned. Understanding child development will help make you a successful caregiver of early childhood. The study of child development is divided into 3 domains, or 3 areas: physical, cognitive, social, emotional. Those are your 3 areas of development. Brain development occurs rapidly during the first 3 years of life. The connections between nerve cells are created as a child interacts with their environment. Therefore, infant care and interactions with caregivers is crucial to brain development. It can affect lifelong outcomes in learning, behavior, and health. Theories of development can help caregivers understand how to best work with children. These theories provide insight into children's development. Chances are you'll use parts from a variety of theories to develop your own idea. That wraps us up for this episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me. Thanks for joining me as we learn all about child development principles and theories. See you next time.